Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Hello, Chop Squad. I hope you're well and ready for a great conversation. Our guest today is Dustin Bogle, and he is here to chop it up about building a massively profitable business. We all want that, right? He will teach us how in marketing to improve our follow-up, get more sales easily, and about leadership. Are we selling a vision or selling a job? That's going to be interesting. So be on your guard, because there will be plenty of slam dunks coming your way. I am glad this is virtual. Seriously, though, Dustin has a unique story. His family immigrated from Egypt in the 60s to chase down the American dream. As a young adult, he got into professional wrestling. Yes, the elbow drop and drop kick kind of wrestling. Now you know why I said I'm glad this is virtual. But all kidding aside, being a pro wrestler is where Dustin learned how to sell tickets and organize a live event. From there, Dustin went on to open 6 gyms in 6 years in Southern California, the most competitive market in that industry. That's where he was forced to really grow as a leader and an entrepreneur, because it was extremely difficult and packed with lessons learned. But it's also where he learned how to grow and scale a business the right way. Today, Justin helps gym owners delegate their sales and admin work to his team so they can free up their time. His book, Reinforce Your Gym, is a collection of his golden strategies to help gym owners. Yeah, it is. Yep, show that book cover. Oh my goodness, to help gym owners to build a massively profitable business. Although these lessons are written for gym owners, they can be easily transferred over to other business sectors too. So get ready. Dustin, welcome to the Business Shop.
Thank you so much, Audrey. I'm excited to chop it up. Let's do this.
Yes. So how was your week?
It was fantastic. I actually have been doing quite a bit of podcasts and shows, doing a little bit of a media blitz to get the word out about the show or about the book, because I want to get it into as many hands as possible. And I'm excited to pass on some of the lessons I've learned in business, some of the things I've written about in the book. Mm-hmm. So we can help these business owners grow their business to the next level.
All right. So let's get started then, and let's look at some of the bio you hit on. Let's go like how you actually got into the wrestling, and we'll just bring it on up.
It's funny. I'm in fitness, but I was not always fit, and so they say things like your mess becomes your message, and your trial becomes your triumph. And so, what you kind of had to go through tends to be the reason you do what you do for a vocation or career or business. And so in high school, I was 60 pounds overweight. I was tipping the scales at 260. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'2". So you didn't really see it on me, but the scale reminded me. Right. And when you're in those years, those very formative years, it can really mess with your psyche, because I looked around, everybody else was pretty lean. That's when everyone's metabolism's through the roof. Most people want to go back to their high school weight. I do not. I'm the opposite. I want to never go back to my high school weight.
Right.
And so I just really had low confidence. I was afraid to talk to ladies. I was afraid I didn't have any friends. I kind of just reclused. I was always like wearing my hoodie, trying to hide from the world. And your confidence first stimulates, in my opinion, from how you feel in your body. And so when you feel good in your body, it comes through in your posture and your words and how you walk into a room and how you lead your team and run your business. And so it's kind of a great place to start self-work. And so those many years ago, I was invited by a friend in a class to go to the gym. And after that workout, I just felt so good. I committed to go with him every day after school. I lost 60 pounds of fat. I got visible abs. I got lean and muscular. And I decided at that moment, I'm going to change it from me to helping other people. I said, holy cow, this has helped me have more energy, sleep better, gain more confidence. I want to now give this gift to other people. And that was the moment I decided to become a trainer and go get certified and go into that fitness world. Fast forward from there, I make another acquaintance, and he has this desire to be a professional wrestler. And I watched it. This is the 90s. So like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The
Oh,
Rock.
oh, yes, yes, yes.
So I'm all into it. I'm watching this and I'm
Oh,
talking about it with my friend. There you go, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love it. So he says, want to come to my house and let's goof off in the ring and do what we see on Monday Night Raw every day. So we do it, and we're doing what they called then backyard wrestling. It's just you and friends trying to be pro wrestlers, but you're really not.
Yeah.
Later on, we eventually go get professionally trained. And yes, I had a 10-year career as a professional wrestler. I did tours in Mexico, Canada, Hawaii, all kinds of cool places.
Did you have a stage name or a wrestler name?
Yes. So it's funny. I started with the name Diablo because I wanted to be, I'm such a nice guy. I wanted to be a mean guy. I want to have a different opposite character. So I was wearing, long hair, and I had fire on my gear, and I would slap soda out of people's hands, and I would just be this jerk. And it felt so cool to be able to do that. And it was okay because I'm in my ring, character.
Right.
But a few years later, because of my fitness influence, I actually ended up partnering up and tag teaming with my brother. And we changed our last name to Cutler and called ourselves the Cutler Brothers. And
Cool.
we were personal trainers. That was our stage characters. And we would throw protein powder in the opponent's eyes. They can't see nothing. He would distract the ref. I would put the resistance bands around their neck, and I would do a chest fly and choke them out. And we had this whole shtick about being these evil personal trainers. Yeah. And those are the two main characters that I did. So that's kind of how I got into the pro wrestling world. And it was a wild ride while I was doing it, for sure.
That sounds like a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
I love watching professional wrestling. I really do. It's great entertainment. But so how did you get the bug though so you were a personal trainer, so you did the wrestling further, and then you went into the training, with your brother. So how did that scale, or that first gym to the 6 gyms?
Yeah. So I was a trainer on the weekdays. That's basically how I paid my bills. And then I was a weekend warrior pro wrestler on the weekends. And I basically went and I did this show in Mexico. It was a 2-week tour. And the promoter promised me $2,000 to go do this 2-week tour, which is big money because usually you're getting $20 a night to put on a match. And so I was like, $2,000, count me in. But here's the funny thing, Audrey. I checked all the boxes you need to check to go and die in Mexico. Okay. So I lied to my mom. I told her I was not going to. I said, I'm going on a tour, but I told her it's somewhere on the East Coast. I didn't say it's Mexico because I knew she'd be mad. I went with $200 in my pocket. I had an old flip phone that didn't work internationally, and I really didn't tell anybody where I was going. So these are all the boxes you check to go die in Mexico. And that's
okay, because you ain't coming back to the States.
So I go and I do this tour, but halfway through the tour, the promoter admits to the wrestlers, I ran out of money. And so this was my first business lesson. He got the talent, he got the venues, but he was a crappy marketer. He couldn't sell tickets. And so he had the talent though. Like the guys he had on the show, you need to put them on posters and flyers and run ads, and you would have filled the place up, but he didn't have that skill. And so this is a great business lesson that maybe you're good at what you do. A lot of business owners are good at their technician. They're good, roofers, they're good trainers, they're good at, building apps, but then they're like, oh, I hate marketing and sales, and they're frustrating their business isn't growing. It is a necessary evil. You cannot run from it. You have to market. You should be so excited and proud of what you've built that you want to share it with the world. And they say there's 2 types of, business owners. There's product driven and promotion driven. And the product driven are the tinkerers. They like working on the product, making the app better, faster. They like making the product sleeker. And then the promotion, they love social media. They love content. They love making ads. They love researching marketing and acquiring customers. But then they kind of have this opposite effect. Like the promotion driven tends to kind of let the product slack. They just want to promote. And then the product driven tends to not do very good promoting. And so it's like you need that opposite person to come in and even you out. And so that lesson was that first introduction to a product driven. He got all the right talent, but he didn't know how to promote. And it was a big failure. So what happened is I ended up finding out he's out of money, and I didn't have any money to get home. And the fans were angry. In fact, we all had to run to the tour bus, and they were shaking it violently. And I thought I was going to die right then and there. I thought they were going to get on the bus and kill us all. And they're mad because they took their money, but we refused to put on the show.
Right.
And so what happened is the bus driver ended up speeding, getting away from the angry mob, and a nice other fellow wrestler, fronted me the money to fly home. And that's how I got home safe.
That was a blessing. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But to answer your question, how did this lead to opening gyms? On that flight home, I said to myself, I will never be in this predicament again where money is the cause of me being in a tough spot. And what I look back is all these terrible things that happened, they all tied to money. Why were the fans angry? Well, we took their money. Why was the promoter going to jail? Well, he didn't know how to, handle his money and promote. Why was I stuck in Mexico without that gentleman being nice and getting me a ticket? I didn't have any money. And so I was just like, I'll never let money put me in this place again. I'm going to go home and I'm going to figure out a way to make money come to me and add value to the marketplace. And that was the moment I decided I want to become a business owner and take what skills I had, which personal training, and put it into a business. And that's how I decided I'm going to open my first gym.
Wow, that's powerful. That's a powerful story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You went on to, it was kind of scary, but it was still powerful. And what makes it powerful is because you look back, you reflected and you looked into what really, what all those facts, and you put them together. Okay, so, a lesson learned, best practices, what's on the other side of that. Sophia, thanks for explaining that out. Yeah, we needed to hear that. So you went from one gym to 6 gyms, and then from where?
As you can tell, I'm a little type A and very, foot to the gas pedal kind of guy. So I opened one, but I think the only reason I was able to go to 6 so quickly is I captured some magic in the bottle that like other gyms were not doing, and it made us unique. Because the only way you can keep building gyms quickly, opening one a year, is you got so many customers coming in. And when you open another gym, you could attract a ton of customers. So people need to be hearing about something cool to get that to be happening. And so there was 2 things we did, I think, that really made us different at our gyms and our boot camps versus the other choices that people had. So the first is I treated my clients like they were truly family. And so I did all this stuff with my family or my friends, and I don't know, like I didn't think about it till later on, but I just applied it to my clients. So I said, I'm just going to have, I care about these people. Yes, they're paying me money, but I'm just going to have barbecues because that's what I do with my family. And I'm going to do potlucks for Thanksgiving, and we're going to play the white elephant game. And I'm going to have scavenger hunts. I used to hide gift cards around the town and do these like Easter scavenger hunts to find, gift cards. So I was just like always planning fun and events. And there's just always I would have bounce houses. Like randomly, I would just like, hey, it's $50 for a bounce house. There's a bounce house today at the gym. Like bring your kids. I was just planning so many events, like made people say, this is way different than any other gym. Like, wow, that, like usually it's just workouts, but like they put in a lot of family and a lot of gatherings. And I like that. So I was like onto this community thing before I knew that this is something you should do in business. It was just like, it came natural to me because we loved hosting parties at our houses. We always had a big Halloween bash. We have Christmas parties. So I was just like, I'm going to just do this at my gym.
Yeah.
And so that really worked in our favor. The second thing is I did want to educate my clients on nutrition and mindset because I knew the workouts are only a third of the game. Like they need to change their nutrition and they need to change the way they think. Otherwise, I'm not going to make the biggest impact. And if you went to my first gym, I had rows of before and after. And in fact, I wrapped the whole gym that I had to go a layer above, and I even had to go to a third layer. And the whole gym is wrapped in before and afters. How do you get this many people to transform time and time again? Right. And it was that I took the time to teach training, nutrition, and mindset through stories. And
wow, it always comes back to telling the story.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And so it's very much in fitness. People will wave their finger and say, you need to eat more protein, or you need to get to the gym 3 times a week, or you need to think positive. And there's very finger waving kind of mindset in fitness. And instead, what I did was I just told a story. It could be one that I read in a book. It could be one that I saw on social media, a movie I saw. My kids, they would even teach me lessons, when I'm just being around them. My clients, I would hear stories and aha moments they had. And then I would just repeat it to the clients throughout the day at the end of the session. But people looked forward to it. They even used to start calling it real talk. They're like, Dustin, the workouts are fine, but I look forward to the end because that's when you give us real talk. That's where you tell some sort of inspirational story to send us off for our day. And they're like, I remember them. And I actually go home and I repeat them to my husband or my kids or, my coworkers. And they're like, they just stay with me and they're really good lessons. And so again, there's a lot of things that I feel like it's overused in business. Like I stumbled upon this and I stumbled upon that, but like I actually stumbled on these because I didn't know what I was doing till later on when I got more educated about business. I was just being me. And then later on, I learned culture. Oh, shoot, I was building a culture. Oh, I was building a community. I was teaching through storytelling. I didn't know these words and how they relate to business until I got more, further along in my entrepreneurial journey.
And you were being authentic because you said you were being yourself. You were just being Dustin.
Yep. And so people are like, what made you so different? How'd you go to 6 gyms? And well, when you hear that, that makes most people say like, now I see that why. Like I want to be I want a gym like that. I want to go hang out where there's a bunch of events and gatherings and it's family driven. And I want to hear inspirational stories too on the daily. And it was almost like a podcast before podcast. So that's what I think was the magic sauce. And we scaled fast, 6 gyms in 6 years. It was a crazy ride. And there was a lot of learning lessons. It wasn't all good. There was definitely mistakes. There was definitely times I got humbled. But that's kind of what I think led to that giant, rocket growth.
Yeah. Do you want to share any of that? Any challenges or
yes,
that we can learn from?
So again, this all sounds like life is good. Dustin's life is perfect. Good for him. This is where the carpet gets swept from underneath me. So we actually had to go back and close 2 and sell 1 because we aggressively opened. And this is where I guess you could even say I was a little arrogant. I thought I can go to any town as long as they have strong income. Like if I look it up and they have strong household income in that city, I could open on any corner. I'm going to dominate. Well, I got humbled because I found out that there's like bad communities within a great city and you could pick a wrong place. And when you're running brick and mortars like I did, it's all about location. You got to go where, especially when I'm working with women, you want to go to a shopping center where they feel safe. They don't want to feel like there's weird characters around. It's not run down. I didn't think about that. I'm a guy. I'm like, it's just a shopping center. Just walk in. So I got humbled and I had to close them. But the big thing that I learned also was that, Dustin, all the stuff you shared was great when you're there. What happens when you're gone? And so that's where I got humbled with, I need to learn how to scale leadership and I need to learn how to scale culture, which are 2 things I didn't do. I was good at doing these things myself. You take me away, those things disappear. No more events, no more storytelling. The coaches just give you the workout and say, have a great day. So now people are not staying with their membership as long. People are not signing up. And that's where I got humbled on like, okay, I do have a system, but I have to put it to paper. I have to put it into a document, SOP. I need to teach it. I need to turn into a leader that duplicates leaders if I want to scale this thing. And so that was the humbling lesson that I learned that I didn't know at that moment. And I had to kind of walk through the fire to learn it, unfortunately. Now we operate those 3 that are remaining, and we did learn to scale our systems. But that was the big learning lesson that I got humbled by opening too many too fast and not having the infrastructure built to support it.
Yes. And that's very important. And one thing, that I hear you saying too is, how do you duplicate yourself? Because that goes back to something that you said earlier in our conversation where you talked about product driven and marketing, market driven type businesses. So in a way, you were being so product driven to think about, how can I duplicate myself?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not going to be an exact duplicate, but that goes back and leads into your something that you said in your documents too that you sent to me. We're talking about leadership with selling a vision and not just selling a job to duplicate yourself or to open up those other gyms and so you can be successful.
Yes. And that's what I look back on. Audrey, you're absolutely right. I was really good at launching the gym. So I could promote the hell out of it and be this new thing that's coming to town and get everybody excited. Like, oh, this new gym's coming to town. They do things differently. They're running this 6-week challenge. I'm going to jump on. And I would fill it up with 200 people from the launch. And then because I love promotion, I'd go to the next town and I'd promote the next town opening. but I didn't turn around and say, well, what's the product for the long haul? We're going to be here for years. I signed a 5-year lease. The grand opening's only a month or two. What's the long haul? I didn't have that in my head. I just said, okay, just keep doing what we're doing and everything will work out. No, the market, kind of humbled me and said, we don't want just the same thing over and over. We need variety. We need community. We need great coaches. We need, leadership. And so what I learned was that the identical things you do to attract a customer and keep them is the identical experience that goes through for a team member and your staff. So think about it like this. If I run an ad to get a customer, I'm running a job posting on Indeed. Then I need to follow up with that customer to buy my promotion. I need to follow up with my applicants to get an interview booked, right? Then I need to sell the person on my product or service. I need to sell this person the vision of what we're trying to do and sell them my company. Then I need to fulfill on what I promised to the customer. And then I need to onboard and train the team member and fulfill them on what I promised in the interview. And then I need to retain clients, which is funny. It's very much linked to you retaining team members. When I had people with me, I'm celebrating actually 2 team members being with me 6 years this year.
Oh,
and
cool.
So, yeah, and that makes me happy because also I've noticed the gym they're at has the highest retention. And I've had gyms where we've had coaches basically every 90 days, and then we've had clients leaving with a 3 to 6 month lifetime value. So they're related. And I just kind of like showed you side by side the exact experience you take when you're thinking of acquiring a customer is exact one you got to take when you're acquiring a team member. But the thing is, most most employers and most business owners, and I'm guilty of this, they sell a job. When you read their job posting, it says you will do these tasks and you will be given this compensation.
Right.
And that is not exciting, especially to today's world and today's workforce. They're not driven by tasks for money. They want to be part of something big. They want a big cause, a big mission, something that's going to help the world be a better place, right?
Yes.
So that's why I say you're not here to sell them a job. You're here to sell them a vision. What is your vision for your company? What's your vision for them? If you serve your team members well, they will serve your customers well. And so what is their growth opportunities? Is there education and ongoing training? Do you invest in them? Do they have benefits? Like, for example, I was coaching a gym owner and he's like, I can't find coaches. I said, send me your job posting. It was evenings for 2 hours an evening. And so it was like 8 hours total of work. I said, who can make a living working for 8 hours and they're driving to your business? They're going to work 2 hours and then they're going to drive home. They're going to burn it off in gas. Like,
exactly.
And so I was like, think of a high performing trainer, somebody that's really awesome. Would they take that? Or are you literally saying to the marketplace, I want a beginner. I want someone with no experience, or somebody that's not even certified. Like, your job offer is like the bait to catch the fish. And so if you put out crappy bait, you're going to get crappy fish. And so you need to sell a vision. You need, and if you're like, I can't do benefits. I can't do full-time. I can't do, ongoing education. Totally fine. But you need to still sell a vision that one day you will get there. And you need to say, if you bet on me, if you take this part-time job, I know it's only 20 hours. I'm going to work like hell to get you to full-time in 90 days. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this, this, and that. Like, now I'm selling you a vision. And, deliver on it. Don't lie and cheat to try to just get people in the company. But they need to know there's a vision. Like, where are we going? What's happening? And most business owners are visionaries. Like, they see the future, how they want it to be. You just need to tap other people into it because they can't read your mind. We're really bad sometimes about communication. So that's what I mean by selling them a vision, not a job. And that's what can be a game changer for a lot of business owners.
Because then it becomes your culture, even though you may not be working in that gym. You're selling them with your vision as well.
Yes.
Yeah, my goodness. And so you put that. So at what point, because I know, we do things for so long or so in depth that we have to go back and teach. So that was just an example of, you're coaching another gym owner, but you also took that a step further and put that all in a book. And tell us about that and what can we expect from that?
Yeah. And so I'm it's hard. Like, I'm so much about helping other people. It's hard for me, Audrey, to brag on myself, but I'm going to do it just for a moment. It did hit bestseller on Amazon. So woohoo, this was a bucket list item for me to write a book one day. And it's cool to have done it. But I will share with the audience, there's three main sections in this book. And I did write it for gym owners, but I also know it can help any business owner if you are looking at it with an open lens.
Yes.
So the three sections are marketing, sales, and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I put them in that order because the first pain point most people need is I need more leads. You know, that now they're saying if I had more leads, my business would grow. So I just scratch that itch and get you more leads. And I give you actionable steps you can do with your marketing to get more leads ASAP. Then we go to sales because now you need to get these people to buy. You could get a big database of leads, but if they're just sitting there, no one's buying, they're useless. So now I show you my systems for follow-up and then how to close somebody in an ethical way and not salesy and pushy, because you know a lot of people have a hard time asking for money. So I show you how to do that. And then leadership was the big one I was missing. I was good at the first two, but the third, I had to go through immense growth. And so still knowing that I have a lot to learn about leadership, I only just passed on what I've learned so far in my 13 years of being a gym owner and 20 years of being a trainer. I put those learning lessons in the leadership section. And it's just to give what I feel like could really help somebody, whether they're recruiting and they're in the HR side or they're leading, they have actual direct reports and how to lead them better. But those are the three sections that I felt like are probably the most like pain points for business owners. And that's why I attacked them in the book. So although it says reinforce your gym, I would say it could be even looked at as reinforce your business, because it can apply to any business. Just take the examples that I give to a gym owner and just say, how does this work for my business? And it'll still serve you. And it's worth, like, again, 13 years of being a brick and mortar owner and 20 years in business for $15 on Amazon. Like, you know, like people put huge value in books. And that's why you see I got a huge library of them that I think it's a no-brainer to get them and to take the time to take notes and take action on it. It can literally change your life. Just books alone, without mentors and masterminds and all the other things that exist, you can get an immense amount of growth just from books.
Yeah, because if you look back at some of our masters, you know, just, you know, 20th century, early 21st century, they read books. And then now they're standing on stages, you know, teaching other folks, or, you know, these podcasts, you know, we consider this a stage as well as being on a physical stage with, you know, 1,000 folks in an audience. But that's what they did. It's self-taught, but you still were taught by somebody else. It's like you talk about having a mentor, and sometimes your mentors are from a distance. So it may be that you that you went to a gym, you know, all your life as a young person or whatever. You're just watching what that person does, or you never talk to them. They're mentoring you from a distance. And
Yes,
we're always, whoever we are, we're always teaching, which means we also have to have a posture of always learning.
Yep.
And I definitely appreciate you know, what you're doing and your stories, and, you know, how you just led up to where you are now. So what's next for Dustin Bogle?
Yeah. So thank you for asking. I'm actually starting a mentorship for gym owners. So this, I would say, definitely was going to be for that niche audience, because everything we're going to talk about is, but I would say if you're more general and you don't have a gym, then you should listen to my podcast. It's called Lunch with a Punch. And I have people that I bring on that talk systems, that talk health and fitness, that talk mindset. And it is a little bit more of a general business podcast. So that would be the best place to go next. Go follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm very active on both of those under my name, Dustin Bogle. And if you are a gym owner, just go to yourfitnessempire.com and learn about the mentorship. It's only $10 a day. And you're learning from me and my business partner, Matt Wilbur. Together, we've built $6 million gyms. And so we're literally going to teach the formula of how to do that to the people who are in the mentorship. So that would be the best places to connect with me, Audrey.
Thanks, Dustin. Any last advice for us?
Yes, I would just say the final thing is, guys, I want to see your business grow, because this is the engine behind the economies, whether it's US or otherwise. It gives people's jobs, it gives people stability, it gives people just a better quality of life. Like if you look at what we have in today's world versus what, you know, 100 years ago, what made everything better is businesses like, you know, Zoom and Stripe and, you know, Amazon and Tesla. All these companies advanced civilization and made it better. Well, that means it was an entrepreneur who took a risk, who started a company and saw the world could be better. So first, I want to say thank you to you guys, because you're taking risks. You're putting your money, your time, your livelihood, you're sacrificing on the line for the advancement of civilization and the world to be a better place. And don't suffer in silence. This is something a lot of entrepreneurs do. You live on an island and you think that, if you don't have buddies who are entrepreneurs, it's hard to open up and talk about struggles. So get in communities, get around other entrepreneurs, DM me with any questions you have, and just talk to people that are going through the same problems you are. And that immediately makes you feel like there's others out there. I'm not the only one alone. But we tend to internalize it. Again, I'm probably even speaking a little bit more to guys. We tend to internalize it. We tend to hold on to our problems. We tend to suffer in silence. And that's just never gonna result in a good thing. So raise your hand, ask for help, don't be afraid. That's what I think, that if I could speak to the old Dustin that had those 6 gyms, he just didn't know how he was gonna fix that. And he definitely could have had some mentorship at that time, but he was afraid of looking weak. He was afraid of asking for help, and he was afraid of, being ashamed to his team and to his wife and everybody else that's depending on him. So I definitely think that I probably could have even kept those gyms if I had the right mentor in my life. And so I would just say, get some mentorship, get in some communities, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because we all need it. We all don't know what we don't know. And so get around somebody that you can talk to and kind of share what's going on in your world.
Awesome. Well, Dustin, that was a slam dunk right there. So we're gonna shut it down, and can't wait to release this episode so we can get fit fast, not just in our bodies, but also in our gym businesses and other businesses as well. So thank you so much again for chopping it up with us today.
Thank you, Audrey, and thank you to the audience for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to The Business Chop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guest and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.